Hi everybody, Maria Bernardis here, and I'm coming to you with a quick video. The New York Post recently put an interesting post up to say they've titled it 5 Health Lessons That We Can Learn from the People in the 1950s. So basically they did a survey, and the survey showed that people in the 1950s were healthier than what we are today. And I totally agree. And I'll tell you what, they were healthier in ancient Greece than what we were in the 1950s and what we are now. And it's interesting, although we've progressed in a lot of things, we've actually gone backwards when it comes to health and wellness. And how do we know this? There has been an increase in diseases. There's been an increase in illnesses, diabetes, weight issues, and the list goes on. So they recommend 5 things that we should consider going back to that they did in the 1950s. And the first one, which I totally agree with, and I'm very big on this, and I've written cookbooks, and that is we should eat more at home and cook at home, because when you're eating out, you do not know what you're eating. And let me tell you, I've done restaurant consulting and I've worked in restaurants. They use the cheapest ingredients and the most toxic seed oils you can imagine to cook your food. And the cleanliness in some of the restaurants, oh my goodness me, I'm not even going to go there. The second thing that they recommend, which they was very big in the 1950s, is they did not eat a lot of ultra processed foods. So since the 50s, we have a lot of packaged foods, a lot of, frozen dinners and chips and snacks and biscuits and all of that. And if you look at the actual ingredients, most of them are toxic. They cause inflammation in the body, you put on weight, they cause and contribute to illness. So in other words, minimize or eliminate processed foods. Number 3, we're eating bigger portions than what we did in the 1950s. So what this survey showed is portion control is a little bit out of control at the present moment, or after the 1950s. So we need to get back to having more portion control. And a lot of the processed food actually has a lot of bad salt and a lot of sugars, which gets us addicted and therefore makes it very difficult for portion control. So that's the third thing they recommend. The fourth thing that they didn't do in the 1950s that we're doing now, that contributes to a lot of eye issues and a lot of other issues, let me tell you, is screen time. People are glued to their phone, and the blue light is actually not good in terms of you cannot sleep when you're looking at TV or you're looking at your iPad or your phone. So minimize blue screen time, minimize interactions with the iPads and the phones, especially for kids. They need to get out in nature like we did in the 1950s and like we did way before then. I grew up on a Greek island. I used to play with my donkey. I used to climb the trees. I used to play with the goats. That's what children should be doing. Getting into the garden, not, on the iPad. And I see it all the time here in Hawaii. And the final thing that they did more in the 1950s than what we're doing now is they moved a lot more. So now we're having a lot more home-based businesses. We're having a lot more people in the office than we did in the 1950s. So there's less movement, and that's attributed to weight gain, diabetes, and a lot of other illnesses. So if you do work from home like I do, please make time to actually go out and exercise and get moving. So there are some things that they were doing better in the 1950s, and they were much healthier in the 1950s than we are today. So I hope you've enjoyed this live. Have a beautiful day, night, wherever you are, and God bless.